Thank you for joining us for this episode of CNTV. I'm Brad Clonch.
And I'm Quin Tran.
2 Chickasaw citizens are this year's GATE Scholars, a prestigious award and scholarship honoring high-achieving students.
Only a few are selected from thousands. Both Chickasaw students just graduated from right here, Allen High School.
The scholarship is really selective, so it was kind of just a long shot, really. But I thought, I just gotta try it and see what happens.
Keenan Walker tried, and so did his classmate, Jakob Hisaw. To their surprise, the 2 Allen High School students were named GATE's Scholars.
It's just crazy that 2 kids from a small town can get something that 50,000 people applied for, and 2 people in a town of 1,000 people. Yeah, I think that says a lot about that there's actually smart kids from small schools too.
I mean, it was obviously shocking to be a part of such a selective group of people, because I think it was maybe a little over 1% of people who applied got it. One of 750 particularly special people amongst all these people who deserve something insane, such as a full ride and all these things.
The GATES Scholarship is national, prestigious, and selective. Scholars are in the top 10% of their graduating class, demonstrate leadership, active on campus in their community, and embody exceptional qualities, maturity, motivation, perseverance.
Being from a small town, I guess it just really teaches you a lot about who you are as far as work ethic, honesty, and even if you aren't honest, word gets around quick in this place. Keeping your nose clean, because everybody knows what goes on, because everybody knows mom and dad. Growing up on a farm, it just teaches you, again, work ethic, doing things by yourself, on time.
Jakob was involved in sports and student council. Keenan served as class president and valedictorian. Keenan says the Chickasaw Nation played a part in setting him up for success. The tribe's summer camps and the Arts Academy gave him direction.
A lot of my interests that I carry with me to this day kind of sprouted from things that happened with the Chickasaw Nation, that's kind of woven into that, I guess identity and culture and things like that. I did a law camp where they you go and you talk to all these lawyers and judges through the Chickasaw Nation, and they teach you about the profession. And ever since then, as far as I remember, that's always kind of been one of the things I always looked forward to doing. As ever since I did that camp, probably when I was maybe 9-10 years old, I've always said, I'm gonna be a lawyer then.
Keenan is going Ivy League, accepted to Yale University. For Jakob, his initial plan was to attend a junior college. The GATE Scholarship makes it financially possible for him to now attend a 4-year research university, Oklahoma State, his major, fire protection and safety engineering. As part of the GATE Scholar Program, Jakob and Keenan attended a conference and met the other recipients, whom they describe as brilliant.
Their personalities, you can see that they kind of shine too, everyone there just felt like a star on their own. It's also the fact that you're kind of a part of this really talented group of people, and somehow you kind of think to yourself wow.
Some of these kids were graduating with so many AP credits. There was one girl in my group, she graduated with a 6.0 GPA. I didn't even know you could do that, because I think I graduated with a 3.9. I didn't even know you could have over a 4. I think that experience, that little 5-day experience, really helped me realize you got to actually get out and talk to people, and you got to be able to sit and have conversations with different people. It was the biggest thing for me, just trying to open as many doors as I could while I'm still young, so I have opportunities to choose from here in the next few years and right now.
Both of them are on their next journey this month as first-year college students. Jakob is at Oklahoma State University and Keenan is at Yale University.
Congratulations to them. Great days are ahead for those 2 young Chickasaws.
Our children deserve the opportunity to dream big, to strive for excellence, and to succeed in their endeavors.
Governor Bill Anoatubby shared the excitement for the groundbreaking of a new Chickasaw Nation Youth Activity Center in Sulphur. Chickasaw children and tribal leaders took part in the ceremony. The new activity center features a 6,000 square foot multi-purpose area that will host health and fitness activities and community events. The center will serve children in the Chickasaw Youth Club and Tribe's Head Start program. They are growing programs with activities that need more space.
We're very blessed to have the facility, and we use every square inch of it. But having this additional space to do more physical type activity and movement will just be a good release for the kids to get to run around and have a little fun.
The new center will also offer a place for youth team sports to have league play. Team Tashka Tali places third in a Robotics World Championship. This trio makes up Team Tashka Tali, which means Metal Warrior in Chickasaw. The middle school students are part of the Chickasaw Nation STEM Academy. Bryce Broom, Jackson Wilson, and Zachary McFarland designed and programmed robots to shoot and slide disc to score points.
So this year's game is called Slap Shot, kind of a hockey game. So on the table, a 6 foot by 8 foot table, there's 45 of these discs and 45 different dispensers. So they had to come up with 3 different mechanisms. Kind of one of them was to spin a wheel to get these to come out. One was a really high arm. They had to push a lever to drop these into a basket. So they get points for knocking these on the floor, and then they get the most points by shooting these under a fence. So they got a 1 minute match to collect as many of these as they can. So they go typically load up about 28 to 30 and just go machine gun and just fire them under the fence. They had what's called a flywheel, which I can turn around this big old heavy wheel on here, some rubber tires, and actually have weights added on there as well. So they get that spinning up to speed, and then they got a feeder tray that kind of lowers them into that flywheel.
The 3-day World Championship was held in Dallas, Texas. Metal Warrior placing third out of 79 teams in its division is outstanding. The best finish for the Chickasaw team in world competition.
Who is the strongest person you've ever met?
Well, it's not every day that we meet the world's strongest firefighter.
Chickasaw citizen Andrew Burton won that title this year, competing against firefighters from all over the globe.
It started with 120 in the preliminaries the day before the contest, so they whittled that grouping down to about 18. The competitors from last year were allowed to recompete without doing the prelims, so there were 3 of them. So I think that would mean 15 of us moved on from the prelims. I got 4th in the prelims. Because I had that placing, nobody was looking at me. Everybody's looking at the top 3 competitors. Oh, these are your possible podium finishers. Well, the 4th man, they kind of left out of that category. So I was kind of happy to be in that spot. I like to be the underdog. I usually root for the underdog when it comes to contests or sports. I think that what sets me apart from the competition is conditioning. I think that I put in a lot more conditioning when it comes to my job, and being a 300-pound plus man, it takes a lot to be able to make this body move. And so I've got to have a very conditioned heart, very conditioned muscles. And I think that is what kind of put me above the competition.
There were different events, including the fire hydrant, which you placed first. Tell us what that entailed.
They had 4 hydrants in ascending order of weight. The fire hydrants would start on the floor. They would say go, and you would pick them up and load them to the 4-foot platform.
So there are 4 fire hydrants weighing 175, 200, 225, and 250 pounds, and a 4-foot tall platform.
Yes.
And you're having to complete that task in just seconds, right?
I did it in, I think, 17 seconds. It was a fun contest. It was one of those ones I wasn't sure how other people were going to train for. I was lucky enough to have a fire hydrant at the fire station and a place that was 4 foot up from the ground to be able to load it onto. And it weighed 225 pounds. So I touched it every week leading up to that contest.
You had the fire hydrant competition, the ambulance tire deadlift,
that's it,
the axe hold category, and the sandbag carry.
Okay, yeah. So you bringing it all back. And I do all my own programming. So I write my workouts out for whatever time frame that it needs to be, but look at the events and then break them down into smaller portions that can be worked without as much wear and tear on the body.
You have such a positive attitude. Would you say that the mental strength is just as important as your physical strength?
Absolutely. And even outside of the strength sports, when you talk about firefighting too, that is essentially what firemen are strong-minded people because we're all different sizes. I'm one on the larger end of the spectrum for firefighters. You don't see a lot of 300-pound plus firemen out there. you have to have this thing in your head that says that you don't have an end. There's no stopping in the fire service. So if you have a fire that's been going on for 4 hours, you're still trying to clean up, but you're tired, well, you don't get to stop. And when you get back to the fire station, guess what? You got even more work to do. You got to clean all your equipment up and get it ready for the next one. And then that night, the inevitable happens. You get your second fire and you're already tired from the first one. Well, you're about to do 8 hours of work, and I mean hard work. Your heart rate's going to be over 200 beats a minute for us. For who knows how much time. We had a fire last night, and my heart rate was over 200 for 15 minutes, and it was a short fire. We were only there for like an hour and a half.
You've been a firefighter for more than a decade now. Strong mind, body, and spirit. How did you develop that over the years? Was it through Boy Scouting? Because I know you were involved in that as a young person.
I'm actually an Eagle Scout too. So, I went through that whole Boy Scout time and got to the end and accomplished a big feat. Just in that Boy Scout portion of all this, that was probably where my love of public service came from, because Boy Scouts does do a lot of service. It's a very service-oriented group. They do things within their community. They do things for their camps. They do things for each other. And I think that's where the service mentality started.
You are a Chickasaw citizen, and you have that warrior spirit, that spirit of strength.
I try. But Chickasaw to me is it's being part of a group that not everybody gets to be a part of, and be a part of a culture that's beautiful and has been around for a long time. That's one of my favorite parts of it is to see the regalias, to hear the stories, to see the other accomplishments of the other Chickasaw Nation members. It's just a whole nother family. I have my brotherhood in the fire service, but I have another family in the Chickasaws.
The world's strongest firefighter competition is part of the Arnold Sports Festival. In fact, Arnold Schwarzenegger handed you your award. What was that like to connect with someone like that?
That's the thing I get asked about a lot. They're like, "What did Arnold say?" And they're like, "What was it like meeting him?" And it was cool. I mean, to see somebody on movies that I grew up on, like Terminator and Jingle All the Way is one of my favorite Christmas movies.
What would you like viewers to know about pursuing something like this?
I think at the end of the day, I don't think people dive into their hobbies enough. And it's not so much about what you can get out of it, but it's about what you get out of it. So not what can I get, it's what I do get. And I think about things like archery, people who like other recreational activities like camping, boating, whatever. Make the time to do it. You're not getting any younger. It's not going to get any easier to go do. Just go get it done. Do it over the weekend. Time's just ticking away. I waited till I was in my 30s to start doing this again, but I wish I'd started when I was younger. And I know that no matter when I'd started this, I would have said that. I wish I'd started when I was younger. So keep that in mind and go out and have fun. Don't let life get in the way. Don't let work be in the way. Take your kids with you. They definitely they shouldn't be the barrier between you and a good time, because they're going to see you doing it and then they're going to do it too one day. And that's invaluable.
The state of Texas recently honored Andrew. The Texas legislature issued a proclamation recognizing his achievements and the title of World's Strongest Firefighter.
Congratulations to Andrew. We'll continue to follow him as he trains to compete in more strength competitions. Well, Quinn and I are glad you spent time with us here on CNTV.
We'll see you next time.